Well, hey everyone, thanks so much for joining us. We are here at Collision 2024, and I have Danielle Belton with us. Danielle, want to give an intro for us?
Sure. My name is Danielle Belton, and I'm the editor-in-chief of Huff Post, formerly known as the Huffington Post. But we go by Huff Post now.
Right. Wonderful. Well, Danielle, there has been so much going on at this conference, but there's a couple buzzwords that I keep on hearing, one of which is innovation, and I'd really love to focus on that for some of the questions that we have here. First of which, innovation is normally driven by some need. So I'm wondering, what drives innovation in your industry?
I think what drives innovation in journalism right now is survival. Media is really under threat across every aspect of the industry, whether it's television, whether it's film, whether it's newspapers, whether it's digital media. Everyone's really struggling right now and grappling with how to contend with the ever-changing marketplace, with changing emerging technology, and with revenue. Like, revenue is down for a lot of different companies and brands. So we're in a really precarious time. So it's either innovate or die at this point. So it's pretty dire. I hate to sound dire, but like at HuffPost, we're really working hard to figure out ways to best harness what we do best. And that is having a strong homepage audience. It's the strength of our content and our journalism. And that's finding ways to engage with readers where they see us as a destination, not just as like a one-off thing that you find on Twitter or Facebook, but something that's really substantial and meaningful in their lives.
So what's one of the ways that you guys have what's the latest innovation that you brought to the Huff Post that you can think of where you're like, man, that was something where that was a survival moment, but we fought through that through innovation. Does anything come to mind?
Sure, there are a few things. I mean, one thing we did was return to the origins of our homepage. We had gone through several homepages redesigns before I came on board, and I kept hearing from our front page editors like, look, we're not getting the same engagement that we used to get. We need to have more flexibility. We need to be able to do more innovative things with the page. And so I was like, sure, why not do it? I mean, the reality is they had moved away from the original homepage because it wasn't pretty. But I didn't care about pretty. I cared about like people actually reading our articles. And if it means we have to be a little less pretty, I'm fine with it if someone clicks on it. Because it's like this information is important and it's pivotal to our day to day. Another innovation that was really radical for us is something that a lot of sites have, but ours wasn't really very well developed, which is our ability to live blog. We have a very great live blogging feature that we use now for everything from TV to things going on in politics. That has been a real game changer for us in terms of engagement with our readers. Another thing that we've done, we started a reader revenue program. HuffPost is free. We're very proud of that. We want our news to be available to everybody who can experience it, read from it, learn from it. But news is expensive. It's very expensive to do types of reporting that we do. We do investigative reporting, we do political reporting, we do breaking news, and none of that is cheap. And so the fact that our readers feel such ownership in us and have been willing to be like, hey, I'll send you $2 a month, I'll send you $10 a month to support the work that you do because I believe so strongly in journalism and the purpose of a free press. So those are some of the things that we've been doing, as well as experimenting with how we can best harness AI.
So you mentioned AI, so I have to ask about it. So we've been hearing a lot about AI and how AI innovations are changing so many different landscapes in so many different verticals. So as you look out at your field of expertise, how have you seen AI take and make the biggest changes?
Well, people are still figuring it out when it comes to journalism because I'm a strong believer that if you're going to use AI in a newsroom, you need to impose radical transparency with the reader. The reader already has a distrust issue because there's so much misinformation and disinformation. There's so many manipulated images. There's so many people trying to cheat the reader and confuse them and distort what's actually going on. So it's important to be very transparent with how you're using AI and in what ways it's affecting the content that you produce. And so we've been taking a very slow and cautious approach because we want to be respectful and we don't want to do anything that undermines our journalism and our integrity. So that's really important to us. We have an AI task force. Whenever we come up with some new idea or some technology that we want to experiment with, they're members of the newsroom, across the newsroom, various editors, reporters, et cetera, and they'll play around with it and give us feedback. Because I don't want to do anything without the buy-in of my newsroom. That's very critical to me. These are not decisions to take lightly, because when you do, you end up with situations like other publications who ran with AI articles that were inaccurate, that were poorly written, that plagiarized, and it was devastating to their brand. Like, once you lose that trust as a media brand, it is gone. It is very hard to get that back. And so that's why I encourage other publishers to be very cautious and very transparent.
So you mentioned this team aspect to, the rollout of these different initiatives, and that's something that I want to, I guess, focus on a little bit here. So what are some of the ways at HuffPost that you guys foster and nurture a culture of innovation? What are some of those things that come to mind?
Sure. So I've always been a strong believer in that the team leads. Like, I may be the editor-in-chief, and I may be where the buck stops, but I am not where innovation or ideas start. It starts with the teams. It starts with the editors and the reporters and the writers who are creating the content every day, who are creating this high quality journalism. Like, I really rely on them to tell me what's cool and what's hot, and I just sign off on it. Like, I really respect their ideas and their opinions on things, and I want to hear from my staff. I think far too often people in leadership think everything has to come from them. And that's just not true. If you want to create an effective workplace, you have to rely on your people and trust your people that they know what they're doing, that they have an ear to the ground and can give you the advice that you need to make the best decisions that you can possibly make for your organization. And so that has always been the type of leader I have been. I've been one that's been very collaborative, one that's very open-minded and empathetic, that wants to hear from their team. If I'm doing something great, let me know. If I'm making a mistake, let me know. The last thing I want is to see HuffPost fail because I was too stubborn about my vision. That helps no one. I am not someone who needs to be right. I'm someone who just wants to win. And so if you have the tools that are going to make us win, I'm going to listen to you.
Amazing. All right, so last question here. So you're giving a talk tomorrow, a couple talks tomorrow actually, one of which is centered around race, diversity, and technology. And I mean, such a interesting layered topic, I'm sure. But as we go into that talk tomorrow, what are some of the key pillars or cornerstones if people are looking to start those conversations in their community? What are some of the takeaways or little tidbits that you can give before you give that talk tomorrow?
I would say that diversity isn't going away. People can be mad about DEI and all these buzzwords and what woke means and all this stuff. It doesn't change the reality of the situation. America is only becoming a much more diverse place than less so. Like, that's just the reality of it. Over 40% of Americans are people from diverse backgrounds. Most of the world consists of people of color, so to just ignore the world seems insane. So you can either adapt or die. That's what we're facing as content producers, as media companies. If you don't adapt to this changing reality, you will get left behind. There simply are not enough of one type of people to only go to that one type of people and expect to get the same return on investment. You need to approach a broad audience. You need to look at how you can innovate for different types of people across different communities. You need to look for ways to expand your knowledge and expand the ideas and the types of things that you write about. You need to diversify your staff. And that's not just in the rank and file. You need to diversify your staff in leadership. Like, it has to happen on every level. It can't be something that you do when you have time or when you have the money, because what will happen is somebody else will do it with their time and money, and they will surpass you in every way. So people just need to accept the reality of the situation.
Amazing. Thanks for sharing that, and thank you so much for the time. Last little question here. What's the thing that you're most excited to experience at Collision 2024 this year?
You know, for me, these types of events are really just about the people and the conversations. I really get a lot out of meeting other newsmakers and other tech people and hearing their ideas and their thoughts and their dreams and their hopes for our various industries. And so that's what I really get into. So meeting you is great. You know, I'm going to enjoy meeting even more people tomorrow when I have my 2 panels. And so I'm just really looking forward to the engagement.
Well, thanks so much for your time, Danielle, and enjoy the rest of the conference. Thank you.
Thank you.